Vanishing Point, a novel by Keith A. Kenel, 84 of 101. Part 84. The women stood and shook hands with Manny, Suzanne introducing him first to Stacy and then Carla. "You're the teacher, right?" he asked Stacy, shaking her hand briefly. "Suzanne tells me that you're the one who listened to Carla's little girl, Skylar, right? And brought all this to her and the school principal? That was good work. A lot of folks would have just ignored a third grader telling them they just saw her dead daddy out on the playground." He punctuated his good job with a single index finger pointed at chest level before turning to Carla. "Carla," he said, holding the woman's hand in his, narrowing his eyes to a slit and nodding 4 times before releasing it. "I'm sorry this bad hombre Caleb's got your little girl. I got a little girl in 3rd grade over at Lake Myrtle. Toughest thing in the world is worrying about your kid, even if she just goes missing for 2 minutes in the grocery store. You got that bottom dropping out of your insides feeling when you don't know where they are. These guys are going to find them. Period. End of report." I spoke to the responding officers, a guy named Derek Easton, a kid named Luis Madrigal. Never worked with this Luis guy, but Derek says he's stand up. They'll do right. They got detectives working on it too. I know it's hard to believe, but this is probably for the best. Sheriff's Department knows who has your daughter, what vehicle he's driving, when he grabbed your Skylar and Sarah's mother, Marty, right? He asked the last of Suzanne. "Yes," Suzanne replied, nodding minutely 3 times. "Marty Conan." "You talked to the officer who brought Sarah in?" he asked, eyes going from Carla to Stacy and stopping at Suzanne. "How's she doing?" "We don't know," Suzanne replied. "We surprised her. Officer Rosenstock, I mean. We happened to arrive here just before she and the ambulance, and we called out to Sarah just as the EMTs were pulling her down from the ambulance. Officer Rosenstock wouldn't even tell us if it was Sarah on the gurney and stood between us and the poor child as they rolled her into the ER. By the time we got inside, Sarah, the EMTs, and Officer Rosenstock had all evaporated. Whoosh! I'm sure they rushed her to a secure area back in the bowels of the building." "Yeah, well, it sounds like she was doing her job. This Officer Rosenstock, she kind of a petite thing with dark hair and a ponytail and hazel eyes. Probably, what, mid-30s? "I don't know," Suzanne said with a scowl. "I suppose she was short, but those hats you people wear make everyone seem half a foot taller. Probably mid-30s, she conceded, bobbling her head. "Those people wear," Manny replied with a laugh. "I'm a civilian, remember?" "Yeah, gotta be her. I didn't work with her much. Different station. She got the nice new one around the corner on Trinity Boulevard, while I got the old one up Little and Central. Of course, I could walk to court when need be, and she had to drive, so I guess there's pluses and minuses. Seemed legit, but like I said, never much contact. Probably wouldn't have noticed her if she wasn't a woman. Just not that many female cops in county. Sounds like she was doing her job," he said, tilting his head and furrowing his brow. Manny screwed his mouth up and nodded a few times before continuing. "I'd already talked to Sergeant Looney on the phone and given him the info on Caleb and his Elohim's Army connections. If Rosenstock knew that, then she damn well should have been on the alert. And no offense, Carla," he added, showing her his tattooed right arm, "but you're kind of flying the colors here, right? We know gang signs, you dig?" Carla blushed visibly. "I was never an Elohim, and I've learned that their hate is stupid and unchristian. Don't judge me." Whoa, no, Manny said with a laugh. "I'm not judging you. I'm explaining why Rosenstock would have gotten Sarah Conan the hell out of the parking lot. Though it would be pretty odd for a Elohim scum to show up with a Jamaican, wouldn't it, Suzanne?" "I don't know. I'm not familiar. But it certainly sounds like I'm a bit too well done for the particular taste. In any case, what do we do now?" "Carla here needs to talk to the police," Manny replied. "Either Officer Rosenstock or a detective. Probably both. Let me give you a number to call." "I did," Carla answered curtly. "Stacy called 911 after I talked to little Sarah and the police were picking her up. We called 911 to find out where they were taking her, but they wouldn't tell us. The only reason we got here before you is because you sent that text to Suzanne. Thank you for that, by the way." "Wait," Manny said, holding up a hand and shaking his head. "You called 911, told them who you were and what's going on, and nobody connected you to the cops? That's ridiculous." "Well, that's what happened," Carla replied. Yeah, no, that's not what I meant by ridiculous. Did you give them your contact info? They get your name, or just the idea from, you said Stacy, right, from Stacy's phone?" "We gave him Carla's full name and phone number, and the operator said he'd pass it on to the responding officers," Stacy replied. "Okay, responding officers probably means Easton and the Madrigal guy, and they're up to their eyebrows in it right now. Okay, So he called the police directly. "Hang on," he said, grabbing his phone from his pocket.